30 years ago, there was a little girl with a big dream. She wanted to design beautiful things and color the world around her in new ways. Straight after high school, she went into the School of Architecture to study what she loves. But a couple of months after that, she had to move back to her hometown and study what was available, computer science. Knowing nothing about computers at that time, she emotionally struggled a bit, but then quickly succeeded in grades, professional career, and experience. For a decade or so, she worked as a senior software engineer. But there was something always empty in her heart, some unfulfilled promise to her inner child. Chasing after that dream and wanting to bring her two selves together, she had to invent a new field that would combine computing with creative arts and design. That field became known as interactive interior architecture, or as she coined it, interaction design, blending interaction design with interior decorative art. This would have never happened unless she had brought her passion to her knowledge. If we deny what we were born to do, or if we don't accept what life has given us in terms of unique skill set, we would never be able to bring those two together. Bring your passion to your knowledge and do something only you can do. You probably realized by now that I'm the little girl, except way older. And through my life journey, I've been able to lead a new area of research and scientific knowledge, all within my home field of computing, but with a twist, bringing a new aspect to it, a new generation of smart things and interactive everyday objects. For example, here you can see a table runner that looks like a conventional decorative piece, but it can do more. With sensing and actuating capabilities, it can move and sway when people touch it, or when they pass their side dish to their dinner partner. Promoting playful social engagement with screen-less technology. Through this work, I came to Queen's to establish a state-of-the-art studio-like laboratory. In here, my graduate students and I work on designing and developing novel shape-changing and color-changing interior elements, wearables, interactive spaces, or smart homes. Not just those that are meant to automate light and heat, but those that can meet people's needs in accessible ways. Empowering underserved communities with DIY methods and makerspace digital fabrication equipment to design their own tech. Collaborating with marginalized groups that are often underrepresented and often left out from mass-produced technology is game-changing. We use participatory design methods and co-design techniques, inviting people with physical disability or people with dual identity to explore the potential with them. This means that technology is designed with them rather than for them. When you have big dreams, you often don't know where to start from. They can seem high up in the sky. But what life taught me is that you can always start building small things, and not just settle for a foundation, but use those initial projects as building bricks, rising towards that seemingly unachievable goal in the sky. Had I waited for someone to commission me to design a shape-changing building facade with a multi-million-dollar project, perhaps I would have never started. But starting with small samples or swatches and staying up late at the lab, doing hundreds of experiments, developing novel fabrication methods, I took those steps. You can see here swatches of fabric that bring life to textiles using smart shape-changing threads that we designed. And this brings me to my second message today. Dream big, but start building small. Don't worry, you'll get there, as long as you keep being persistent. Think of every step in your journey as a building brick that you carefully place on top of others. Each brick on its own can seem insignificant in the big picture, but together, they form the entire building structure of your achievements. Of course, working persistently hard is not consistently fruitful. Some people like to use tinted lenses to view the success graph as exponentially going up. Others like to use a more rational, linear metaphor to view successful people as, again, consistently going up. But in reality, success goes something like this. Squiggly wiggly lines are sine waves of ups and downs. It's not only the failures and challenges that we face. Sometimes we experience racism or sexism, prejudice, or negative misconceptional stereotypes, mansplaining. Let me tell you what you should do. Sometimes we're even on the verge of breaking down because we get self-doubts. We get imposter syndrome. But it's okay. It's a natural voice, I learned, that you can hear in your head. However, it's vital to believe down in your core heart that setbacks are not the opposite of success, that obstacles are part of the success graph. As a professor, you get more rejections for your funding proposals, publications, and patents, more than you get acceptances. It's shocking, I know. Sometimes even heartbreaking. But believing deeply that failure and success are twin siblings that go hand in hand is important to accepting this reality, whether we like it or not. Failure is not a bad thing. Rejections should be celebrated and acknowledged in our CVs because you've tried and you've learned. As a professional photographer once told me, the shadows in a picture make it richer. It's not only the challenges that we face professionally, it's also the difficulties to live, to take care of ourselves, and to give care to others around us. For a very long time, I tried to work very hard and focus on my career and hope everything else will just fall in place. But it often didn't. Being a mother of 2 wonderful daughters, a wife and a daughter of 2 amazing parents, life is multifaceted in complex ways. I almost cracked twice in the last decade, but it's part of being a human. But I've also learned that there are some balls that you can't drop. Self-care, for instance, is not a luxury. It's an essential part of our mental wellness. We should schedule that into our calendars. Caregiving also goes hand in hand with self-care. Even if they sound like opposites, giving care to your loved ones supports our mental wellness and gives us back the strength that we need to stand up again and rise and achieve our dreams. In computer science, there are programming rules. We learn them, we learn how to follow them, and we know that inputs and outputs are tightly connected. But in life, If it seems like you don't have the resources or open doors at the moment, it doesn't mean that you won't get there. You can be born and raised in a small town across the world and end up being the first Muslim woman to establish a research lab in her field in the Western world. Thank you. Or the first hijabi to win the Ban Rai Inspiring Women Award. But breaking barriers like these doesn't mean that we are unbreakable or invincible. At least not in front of pandemics. COVID, for instance, hit us hard and shut our lab for a long time. But we used that challenge as an opportunity to develop new means of designing and making from home. Here are examples of things people designed with us that would help them connect to their distant loved ones, smell nature, or listen to restaurant noises when they were dining alone at home during the pandemic. Obstacles are often presented to us as challenges, but it's up to us to fundamentally change our perspective, to switch our mindset, and perceive those challenges as treasure maps. Think of challenges that you face as gateways for the brave and open sesame. In conclusion, embrace the contrasts in your life, your inner heart, what calls your passion. Your life doesn't have to be split between what you love doing and what you can do. You can mix those two together and do something no one else can. No matter how big your dream is, you can always start building small things. That's actually how most big ideas came about. No matter how hard the challenges that we face were, another angle of looking at things can give you a perspective of opportunities often not realized before. Keep in mind the contrast of failure that can often break us down is an integral part of the success story, even if people don't admit it. Self-care and caregiving can also seem like opposites, but in fact, they go hand in hand. Your loved ones can be your main source of renewable energy. Celebrating all those contrasts in your life and truly embracing them is what colors long-lasting success. Thank you very much. Thank you.